The pregame show is sponsored by AT&T. The 2019 SheBelieves Cup is a pivotal tune-up for this summer's Women's World Cup, and it draws to a close tonight in Tampa, where earlier tonight England scored an emphatic 3-0 victory over Japan. With that result, England have clinched the SheBelieves Cup title, a trophy the U.S. had lifted in 2 of the past 3 years. So now the Americans go into their final match against Brazil, still seeking their first victory of this tournament and only their second win of this vital calendar year. Jill Ellis's side has drawn both its games thus far here at the SheBelieves Cup. It began with a 2-2 stalemate against Japan. On Saturday, same scoreline versus England. We take in now our Volkswagen starting lineups. Alex Morgan joined in the U.S. attack by Tobin Heath, Megan Rapinoe. Morgan just one shy, becoming the 7th U.S. female player to reach 100 goals. Mallory Pugh in the midfield. Becky Sauerbrunn gets her first start of the tournament on that back line for Brazil. The spotlight, as always, on 6-time FIFA Player of the Year Marta. The Samba Queens, though, have lost both matches thus far at the SheBelieves Cup. We are just 94 days away until the Women's World Cup kicks off from France right here on Fox Sports. Glad you're with us tonight. Rob Stone alongside a pair of former U.S. internationals on my left, Leslie Osborne, Christy Pierce-Rampone. Joining us today, Nigerian legend Mercy Akide Udo. Mercy, the first ever winner of the African Women's Player of the Year award back in 2001, also represented Nigeria at 3 World Cups and led the Super Falcons to 3 African Women's Championships. Nigeria, like the U.S. and Brazil, in this June's Women's World Cup from France. Are you ready for your U.S. TV debut?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. She's been laughing and smiling like this all afternoon long. All right, let's get to the red meat of this game. U.S. head coach Jill Ellis said she's 95% happy with what has transpired. Look at the faces already, with what has transpired with the U.S. But it's that 5%, particularly on the defensive line, Leslie, that's proving problematic.
Yeah, the last time this team has given up 4 goals in 2 games, but the problems start in the midfield with Mallory Pugh getting inserted offensively, centrally. But it's the back line and defensive unit for me. Without Becky Sauerbrunn in there, who brings so much organization and communication in there, they missed her so much. And Adriana Franch getting her first cap, which is so much needed. But making the errors she did, and then Crystal Dunn, her spacing and organization next to the center backs, and also Tierna Davidson, she was just out of form. So overall, the defensive unit has not been strong. 5th
match for the U.S. this calendar year. They only have 1 win. It represents their worst ever start to a World Cup year. And there's some eerie similarities out there to the German men of 2018. The defending men's world champs struggled in the lead up to their World Cup, and those troubles continued in Russia. They did not survive the group stage. Look, that is something that nobody expects to happen to the U.S. women, but also nobody expected the U.S. to have these early defensive struggles. They've given up 4 goals, Christy, in their last 2 games.
Absolutely. I think the back line is not defending as a unit. There's lack of relationships. There's lack of communication. There's players that are coming off the shoulder of the defenders. The spaces is opening up. I think they've lacked on their clearances as well. But they have to just get back Becky Sauerbrunn into that lineup, have a good leader back there to organize and help support. They're getting pulled out of shape too much. We just need to get back to the basics of pressure and cover and just have that balance so that we can commit to winning this game. And I'd love to see Julie Ertz sit as well and help protect that back 4.
Yeah, I would love for the goalkeeper, you know, to communicate with the back 4 because she's very important on the back line there. She's allowing Kristen Dunn to be beaten, and they're taking the shots on her. She's not communicating better on that back line.
And Ashlyn Harris will bring that. She'll bring her vocal leadership and experience that they've lacked, but we've never had to worry about that having Hope Solo in the past. But this is an issue. They need to have that trust and communication and organization in the back line.
Hope was always that safety blanket back there for
And
them.
I think Jill needs to commit to that back 5. It's time. Like, they need to be connected. They need to be a unit back there. They need to be, like, pulling off of each other's movements and shape and just being a strong unit, right? We don't want to score. We don't want goals getting scored
I think also Jill should take out Kristen Dunn out of that left back because she's hurting the team. Kristen Dunn is a very good player. She's not supposed to be stuck back there. Right. She should play up front.
U.S. has conceded more goals than they have scored this calendar year, but Alex Morgan still churning them out, 1 goal this year. Tonight, she could become the 17th female player to reach 100 career goals. Now, a special message from our partners at Coca-Cola, who have turned the nets red at this year's SheBelieves Cup.
Hey America, it's Crystal.
Hi y'all, it's Kelly.
I'm Alex, and I'm excited to partner with Coca-Cola this summer as we compete in the FIFA Women's World Cup.
But we can't do it alone. The belief and support we receive from you, our fans, inspire us on and off the field.
For the first time ever, Coca-Cola turned the nets for this year's SheBelieves Cup red.
And made limited edition Believe bands
For fans to wear and show their belief in us every day.
I hope you're as excited as we are
For summer 2019.
The start of the 2019 Women's World Cup now just 94 days away. Paris is getting ready, and the tournament gets underway June 7th. Every match coming your way on Fox Sports. The defending champs from the U.S., they open up on the 11th against Thailand. Tonight, they face 10th-ranked Brazil and Marta in the final match of the SheBelieves Cup. Kickoff from Tampa in 11 minutes.
If meat could help them cross treacherous waters, it can definitely help you work past 7. Power through with help from the original protein, 100% beef Jack Link's jerky.
This match on FS1 is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
From Tampa, Florida, this is the 3rd game for the USA and Brazil in the SheBelieves Cup. Players in the tunnel getting ready to come out. Welcome, everyone, to our coverage here on FS1. Alongside Ali Wagner, I'm JP Dellacamera. 2 games for the USA, 2 draws. What has concerned you about their play?
Well, look, they touched on how important the details are for this U.S. side. But I think a big reason they're struggling with details is because the U.S. is not controlling matches. They're not controlling tempo. And that's a big issue. And that could be with the ball, and that can be without the ball. When you do that, you invite pressure, and you put yourself in a lot of situations where perhaps you can make the wrong one. And that's what we're seeing out of this U.S. side. And I think, yes, it's going to be big for Sauerbrunn to come into the match and shore things up defensively. But look at Mewis, too, because the spine of that U.S. needs to be better.
The U.S. cannot win this tournament, but with a win can finish in 2nd place because of their win earlier. England over Japan 3-0. England are the winners of the SheBelieves Cup before this final game is being played. The great Marta will lead Brazil out of the tunnel. Both of these teams have had trouble holding on to leads in this SheBelieves Cup tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem of Brazil, followed by the playing of the national anthem of the United States.
We're getting ready for the USA versus Brazil. The U.S. has had the huge edge in the overall series, and they are unbeaten in their last 5 against Brazil. The last win for Brazil over the U.S. was back in December of 2014. Final game of the SheBelieves Cup for each of these teams, trying to close it out, if they can, with a victory. Let's go downstairs. Alex Curry is standing by with USA head coach Jill Ellis.
Coach, after 2 draws in 2 matches, what are some of the little changes you need to see here done tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think in those top games, you know, in those top tight matches, it's about making plays. And I think, you know, if we're probably 2 or 3 plays away from being in a different situation right now. So I think, you know, those moments, the attention to detail, the focus, I think those are the differences between coming away with 1 point, 0 points, or 3 points. And that's what we need tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Alice. Alex, Brazil will be in the yellow tops and the blue shorts, and USA in white with the red and blue trim. Allie, does the mentality change at all before the game started? If the first game ended in a draw, the U.S. could have won SheBelieves Cup. Now they're playing still for the win.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is a U.S. side that is playing for pride tonight, and I think they're playing for something greater, which is their preparation to the World Cup, and they're not satisfied with the 2 performances we saw, the 2 draws. That's not typical for a U.S. side. So one of the things Sauerbrunn told to us when we met with her yesterday was they want to come out. The way you see this U.S. team in the first 5 minutes, the first 10 minutes, is going to really tell you about the character of this side. They want to make a statement.
Each of these teams have had trouble holding on to the lead. You see the captains here, Marta and Alex Morgan. They are teammates with the Orlando Pride opponents today. That's Vidal, head coach of Brazil, back for his 2nd stint. They had a pretty ambitious training camp, Allie. 40 days, 42 players. That's different from the Brazil of the past.
And it paid dividends because even though they haven't got results in their first 2 matches, they looked better. They looked more cohesive as a unit. The thing they need to bring, I think, after this tournament is to get it. because they seem to run out of gas at that 70-minute mark, and I think that's something the U.S. is going to know tonight and want to push the tempo.
Teams out of their huddle. Alex Morgan, 99 career international goals, will number 100 come today here in Tampa. Tobin Heath getting another start. Arguably, she's been the best player for the U.S. in this tournament. And Ashlyn Harris will become the third goalkeeper to play in this tournament. Alyssa Nair, injured. They said 7 to 10 days, so right on schedule. Adriana France started the last game, and this time it's Ashlyn Harris. Referee is from Canada, Caroline Chenard. On her whistle, we'll get this one started as Brazil plays it back to the outside. Andressa off her touch. Heath tries to pick it up. She and Morgan are there. Heath with a step already behind the defense in the box, cutting it back. That's got to be a penalty, no? It's a nudge from the back. Fans in the stands thought it was. Coming back the other way. Gavinia's pass ahead, missing Marta. Stepping in was done from Ertz. We've heard that already there's been one approval for VAR at the World Cup. When that becomes official, that probably would have been reviewed. Here is Tobin Heath cutting it back. It's let go for Ertz, and it goes wide.
I don't know if the referee wasn't ready to make this call. It's a quick counter by the U.S. They pick it off in Brazil's own end, and then Tobin Heath gets sprung in behind. Instead of playing Megan Rapinoe, she goes for Morgan with the cutback ball. It's a brilliant decision, but a poor one by the ref ultimately, because that is a poor challenge by Thaisa on the back of Morgan. That should have been a penalty.
Just getting started here in Tampa, Florida. First game won by England 3-0. Goals by Lucy Staniforth, Karen Carney, and Beth Mead. That's her second of the tournament. Congratulations to Phil Neville and England. They played well throughout this tournament. US collecting and playing it forward. That's picked off between the bench area. Dresser pulling it back for Monica. Erica up the middle. Back for Erica. She started every game, played every minute in this tournament. 3 games in 7 days for these teams. It's been a bit of a grind.
And very little rotation from this U.S. side, which makes it even more of a grind. And I'm surprised by that, and that means it's a big opportunity tonight from U.S., one of the few getting a start.
Ball played through. Ashlyn Harris will let that one go wide.
And U.S., one of the few that didn't get a start in those first 2 matches, getting a look tonight. Ellis really determined to get this starting core group minutes heading into the World Cup and not looking at the depth of her squad as much.
Dunn will drop it back. Sauerbrunn returning to her normal starting role next to Dahl Kemper. Tierna Davidson on the bench today, still a part of that mix of who's going to be playing as the 2 starting center backs in France starting in June.
And I wouldn't rule out an outside back position either, because with those 3 on the field, you can actually flex in and out of a 35-back system, if you will.
Ertz. Morgan. Alex with 1 goal in this tournament, lays it off on the left. Crystal Dunn, the left back, high upfield. On that far side. Cut back. And it's caught in goal by Alini. Monica holding it. Up the middle it comes. Formiga at age 41, if you can believe it, still playing. That pass is connected, and here's Brazil. Held up. Gavinia. 1 goal came in the last game for Brazil. They have scored in each of their first 2 games, but conceded goals afterwards and lost both. It's pushed up the middle by Thaisa. Laid off by Dia. Formiga.
And that's a matchup between Sauerbrunn and Bia in there, who was receiving that ball from Thaisa all night to keep an eye on. Does Becky Sauerbrunn check with her, or does she lay her off and have Julie Ertz pick her up? Bia's a player that Brazil likes to find back to goal, and they play off of her incredibly well.
The O'Hara pass, Ertz, and that's picked off. Straight up the middle. Long distance shot is well over Ashlyn Harris. From distance, it was Adriana.
Poor giveaway in the center of midfield there by the U.S. as they're trying to build out. Looks like Adriana pounces on it. Becky Sauerbrunn steps to her, forces the early shot. Ashlyn Harris is there anyways.
Marta laid it off. Good shot taken is blocked. Stavenia trying to get through. Brilliance of Marta. The creative number 10 will look right. Looped into the box. Second ball. Ashlyn Harris will grab it in traffic.
And a couple back-to-back possessions from Brazil, putting the United States on their heels. Ashlyn does Harris well to come off her line and grab that out of the sky, rise above everyone else.
Ball is coming back to Harris. It's her first start of 2019. Played in 5 games last year. 4 of them were starts. For Ashlyn Harris, it's her 20th appearance in goal for the USA. The dump pass ahead. Morgan. All the way to this right side. The offside flag's up. Brazil will push it back. In that game against Japan, second game, 22 shots. That's a SheBelieves Cup record. They put 6 on target, scored the first goal, and then gave up 3.
And they created really quality opportunities. That was one of the things Vidal told us when we spoke to him, that they have to be better in their 18 and finish those off. And you watch that game, Japan, they really scored against the run of play.
U.S. getting it back. Tobin Heath. She was to the right. Third straight start for Mallory Pugh. In a position that she's not as familiar with. She used to play up higher and wider for this U.S. team. Brazil, that's dangerous. In their own box. Pushed out wide. Hurts for the block. Knotted down, no one there for the USA. And a little bit of confusion there almost resulted in the USA corner. Brazil looking to get it back, and foul is given. Brazil will have a free kick.
This is the first time that the U.S. had pressed in, and then it was Mewis and Dunn trying to pin Brazil in on that far sideline. And look, this is one of the reasons Mewis is in there, for the physicality. One of the reasons that I think she can play a double pivot with this United States team, because she's got that physical presence that maybe you didn't have in a Lavelle and Pugh combination above Julie Ertz. Big test for her tonight, JP. She only played 275 minutes in last year's calendar year.
Nice idea, and that long ball floated in, cut back. No chance yet for Brazil. Thaisa taking it. Wide of a diving Ashlyn Harris.
Brazil's been explosive at times already in the early goings of this match. This ball comes back out to Thaisa. Hughes needs to close her down there. She's got plenty of cover in behind. Someone from behind needs to urge her on. She needs to know that she needs to get tight there.
Foul on Brazil. Free kick U.S. Scoreless here in the 10th minute. Megan Rapinoe, back-to-back games with a goal.
Did that last year as well. O'Hara. Hurts. Off Heath. Towards Pugh. That's cut off. Thaisa battles for Brazil with Formiga. Looked like the U.S. won it. They did get the foul. Heath draws it on Formiga. Play resumes. Free kick for the U.S.
Heath uses her body incredibly well. Just shields off Formiga. Formiga tries to go through the backside of her.
Driven long, and it'll bounce towards Eline. Right foot of Eline. Tonight's telecast sponsored by AT&T. In transition, a bit too far. They keep looking for Alex Morgan and trying to get international goal number 100 for her.
And she's going to continue to look to hunt behind that back line. One thing with this Brazil side is they like to drop early, so there's going to be some space underneath. If the U.S. can advance Mewis to get underneath Alex Morgan, so it's not always in behind.
Back in the USA's half, pushed forward. Hurts. Mewis coming back to try to find it as Marta lays it off. Spin move by Adriana. Finding an open teammate. Andressa setting it in. That's off done. Again, that second ball into the middle. Cleared away by Mewis. Jill Ellis was talking about that being one of the keys. Winning that second ball. Also moving well as a unit defensively. Thaisa broken up. Hurts. And Mewis was wide open. Now they find it. Sam Mewis on the move. For the attack for the U.S. U.S. continues for Pugh in the box. Cutting. Mallory Pugh's pass. Just time. Good opportunity. That's the best U.S. has looked in the attack. Mewis with that finish.
And starting it, really, she gets herself in a nice pocket of space. Now she has room to run at the back line. You can see them dropping off, trying to absorb the runs of Alex Morgan, Mallory Pugh, and that creates a space for Mewis underneath with the cutback ball. The way she drives at that back line, and then her pass out to Mallory Pugh, she didn't try to thread it centrally where there was numbers tight. Really well done, and a bright start for her, who knows that she's trying to earn or prove that she is a role player on this side.
Again, the team is playing without Lindsay Horan, who is pretty much a guaranteed starter on this squad, with a quad injury, so not a part of this roster. Nice ball in. Heath leads it. Rapinoe! It's over. The flag's up. The flag was up for offside. The game remains scoreless.
And it's a deft combination between the front three. Alex Morgan was one who pulled off, and then she laid in Tobin Heath, who's trying to play that ball across the seam for Megan Rapinoe. You can just see a step ahead of that back line. Idea's all good, though.
Heath, again, has found some space on that right side, bothering the Brazilian defense.
And credit Alex Morgan for her back-to-goal play. The way she checked off that back line, dragged a central defender, that space opens up.
Scoreless here at the moment, USA versus Brazil. For more on the USA and their mentality, their approach, Alex Curry.
JP, I spoke to Becky Sauerbrunn about the team's mentality right now, and she made it clear that a result tonight is huge for this team. Attitude coming into this game is going to be the most telling thing about what this team is about. She said they need to show up and make a statement, be upset, and not worry about everything else that's happened this week. But as a whole, this team believes it's in a spot where they need to be. They're learning from these experiences, and it's only going to make them better in the future.
That's right, Alex, and they do need to make a statement today. They're not happy with 2 draws or the goals that they've conceded.
And they shouldn't be.
To Sam. One time. There we go.
Long ball in. Grabbed by Eline. Played collegiately at the University of Central Florida, just down the road. enjoyed our conversation with her yesterday. Heath leaves it off for Ertz. Mewis again was calling for that ball. It's played over to Dunn on the left. Crystal Dunn floats one up on a bounce. Pugh will collect it towards the end line, drives it across. Brazil wins that one in the air. Second ball falls to Mal Pugh. That's picked off. Brazil trying to counter. Marta. It took too long. Given away by Heath, and Dressa on the ball.
And you can see, JP, to your point earlier, that the U.S. wants to pick up second balls. They're not pressing high on the field, so they're keeping their lines incredibly tight. When Brazil wants to play that long one in, can they then scoop up the second underneath?
And Dressa holding there. The club team is Barcelona. Back for Erica. Rapinoe going after it. Aline. Aline clears. Intercepted in the circle. It was Mewis who won it. Heath and Morgan. Keeper backs up. Shot taken. Saved by Aline.
Physical presence again of Mewis, an asset for the United States tonight. She picks up the second ball, and with that first touch, the vision, the awareness to then just glide that one in behind for Heath, who has that angle. Difficult one in the end. Perhaps you try to slide that across, fire it across for Alex Morgan, who's trying to slip in behind. Mewis has been good. Even when she's not getting the ball, her movement's been fantastic.
Morgan's touch to Tobin Heath. Riding off a challenge to Pugh. Hera tried to keep it in. Pugh helps to save it. Del Kemper. For Sauerbrunn, who played as a sub the other day. Minor knee irritation that kept her out of the first game as a starter, and also game 2 as a starter. Space here on the left, Dunn. 1v1 at the moment. Try to bring it inside, now goes back outside for Rapinoe. Back for Dunn. Spinning, looking for Rapinoe, that's blocked. Dunn, third straight start in this tournament as the left back. Only change in that back 4 in terms of the starting lineup has been Davidson out, Sauerbrunn in. Rapinoe. Push down, gets the call. Free kick U.S.
Rapinoe just takes that touch across Marta, trying to cut her off. Draws the foul. Smart, really smart movement by an attacker who knows that pressure's coming right up.
And this free kick is in Rapinoe's range, certainly.
This is her wheelhouse.
Yep. Brazil will get the wall set up. This will be from about 25, 26 yards away.
And Aline, not the tallest of goalkeepers, but she is agile.
It's blocked. Here's Brazil trying to come back. Good job. It was Sauerbrunn helping to break it up. It comes back for Del Kemper, back for Ashlyn Harris. 33-year-old goalkeeper for the U.S. That was an easy and good distribution to Dunn. It was wide open. Try to find Morgan. The killer pass, it's too long. Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Girls Inc., a nonprofit organization delivering life-changing programs and experiences that equip girls to overcome serious barriers to grow up strong, smart, and bold. Visit foxsportsupports.com for more information. On this right-hand flank, it is Brazil trying to get some numbers forward. Did a decent crack at goal. Marta, stop there. Marta will find the open player to the right. Inside, the miss in the air. And the U.S. will come back and look to counter. Good breakaway speed there from Tobin. He put it into another gear, brings it into the middle, has Rapinoe with her, and Morgan! Morgan in!
The shot saved by Aline. Rebound shot. And the U.S. has scored. One nothing U.S. Great work overall by Tobin Heath.
I was going to say, it seemed fitting that she was the one that finishes these off. It's a good ball laid into space by Pugh, but it's this touch right there that takes her defender out of her recovery mode, and the run by Rapinoe to drag the outside back across, open that space up for Morgan. Yes, she doesn't connect. Aline then is out of her goal because she has to come out and try to close that down on Morgan, and now, from distance, Heath has a wide open net, but she still had defenders to beat with that strike. And it's a luscious one at that. Fantastic work from Tobin Heath.
Back-to-back games with goals for Tobin Heath. In the 20th minute, Tobin puts the USA on the board. Fans in the stands were up anticipating Morgan's 100th. But that shot and then the big rebound led to the Heath goal. For Tobin Heath, her 27th international goal. Marta's unable to keep that one in play. What a career for Marta, 5-time FIFA Player of the Year. Monica. Today's coverage of the SheBelieves Cup, sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. Driven along by Erica. The U.S. will get to it. Back for Harris. We'll see how the U.S. manages this now, Allie, because in the previous games, they've had leads and lost the leads. Now, they're up. It's game management.
Right, and in those 5 minutes after you score, they have to be incredibly tuned in, something they haven't done.
Driven by Andressa. They've got 5 runners going toward the box. Dunn defends, knocked it out. Corner for Brazil.
And that's what Brazil will do to you. They'll get 4 or 5 players up on your back line.
Julie Ertz is down, and that would have to be a concern for the U.S.
We've said it before, potentially the biggest loss if Julie Ertz wasn't healthy for the United States heading into the World Cup.
Concern for sure for Jill Ellis, because Ertz has been one of her most dependable players for a long time. Long time.
Alex Morgan giving a dental check up there.
Marta will take Brazil's first corner. Telling the assistant referee where she should be positioned, apparently. In swinger from Marta. That was a pretty decent feed. It's going to roll out for a Brazil throw-in. Andressa should get the return. 1v1 at the moment. Hara was defending, and Heath. Andressa slipping it through. Down for the ball for Miga. It's another Brazil throw-in. 24th minute. The U.S. leads on a Tobin Heath goal. 20th minute. The second goal of this tournament. Andressa. This time it belongs to the U.S. O'Hara getting into play. I'm not sure how many minutes O'Hara can go. She was coming back from that ankle injury. 3 games in 7 days for her. 45 minutes the first game, played longer the second game, but we're not sure how long she can go tonight. Mallory Pugh is the latest to hit the turf.
And you know that every coach holds their breath. In tournaments like this, as you're heading into a world event, the mix-up there, it looks like between her and Formiga.
They're minor injuries. You have time to recover for France. Major ones, you don't.
And that brings in the question of how do you manage tournaments like this and give more opportunity, more minutes to the depth on your bench, something the U.S. really hasn't done.
First game, they only used 3 subs. You're allowed 6 in this tournament. Second game, they went with 4, but some of those substitutions did not get that many minutes. Long from Dahlkemper. Knotted down. That's going to be a foul in the U.S. before Rapinoe could get to that ball. The goal scorer for the U.S. 7 goals in her last 9 games for the U.S. And yet she's more of a playmaker than a goal scorer, but the goals are starting to come for Tobin Heath. Her goal has the U.S. up. O'Hara. It's given away. Dressa. That's too long. Chase for the loose ball. It's going to go out of play. Sauerbrunn was back there defending. It's a Marta throw-in. Marta, the all-time leader in the women's game in terms of goals at the World Cup with 15. Not so bad in the Olympics either with 10. Mewis. Away from Thaisa. Sauerbrunn for Dunn. Off for Pino. Brazil will take it over. The U.S. with some collective defending, forcing Brazil back. Coming all the way back. Erika. Andressa. Marta. Finally out, right in front of Jill Ellis and that USA bench.
Let's get the momentum back.
And in that last attack, it was quintessential Brazil as of late, where they're getting 4 players on the back line of the U.S., but that's leaving players isolated from Brazil in the wide areas. No one to combine off of, and that's when they've been their best, is when they get those extra runners. Vidal told us he wants to see more attacking movement in the final third. That's what he has built successful sides on, and they're just not quite there.
Dahlkemper for Crystal Dunn. Over the halfway line for Megan Rapinoe. Crystal Dunn turning. U.S. trying to show as an option. Too far, but it's collected by Morgan. Sees Rapinoe. And the offside flag again on the U.S. It's been up a few times already in the first half.
And that's not a bad sign if you're the U.S. That means you're getting players trying to run in behind. And in fact, Megan Rapinoe is a step ahead. Good movement, though. You can see that Alex Morgan had pulled wide, so Mewis had to then come central and establish some pressure centrally. It's good coordinated movement.
Goalkeeper Alini plays it long. Brazil will keep it. Formiga. Dressa tackled away. That's Heath again. Inside the circle. Heath will lay it off. O'Hara to the right, has Pugh in front of her. Mallory Pugh. It's blocked. Andressa trying to turn and get away. This ball for Formiga. Pressure on the ball from Ertz. The veteran Formiga plays it back. Andressa off the U.S. Throw in Brazil.
You can see that Andressa is a center mid naturally. She's playing in that left back position for Brazil. Incredibly comfortable on the ball, but potentially slowing down the tempo too much.
One of 12 players on this roster, Andressa, that played in the last Women's World Cup. One of 12 that also played on the last Olympics for Brazil. Brazil have made every World Cup. A lot of people thought they'd be farther ahead in this program. Long ball in. Brazil wins the first and second ball. Burns gets it back for Dunn. Rapinoe. Morgan leads it. Dunn. That ball rolls out. The idea was good.
One of the reasons Crystal Dunn is in that attacking third, JP, was the U.S. had great numbers forward. They're able to lock in Brazil. That's one of the reasons Mewis is important for this side in the center of mid.
Still have a player down on the far side of the field. It's Adriana.
It's Sauerbrunn who rises up and catches Adriana.
So play is stopped here in the 30th minute. The U.S. leading 1-0 over Brazil. As mentioned before, that Brazil has qualified for all of the World Cups. Thought they were going to win it when they beat the U.S. back in 2007. They did not. They were runners-up in a couple of Olympics also to the USA. And some of these players, Ali, that you played against, still on this team. Formiga, Marta, and others.
Yeah, I didn't quite have the longevity in my legs that a Formiga had.
You couldn't play to 41?
No desire either.
No. But she's still going. So a lot of people would have thought no chance for her at the next World Cup.
But that also
She
speaks to lack of development in their country and bring along younger players that can displace her, really. Her mobility is lessened as she's aged, but she's still a fantastic player with the ability, her ability to solve pressure out there.
Wiggy there, Sam. Yes!
U.S. back on the ball. Up the middle. Rapinoe, that's some pretty good movement. On that far side, U.S. looking. Morgan was in. Should be a corner for the U.S.
Strong connection here as Rapinoe tucks into that half space in between the midfield line and the back line. And then Mewis gets free on that far side. The right back had just been sucked in, and that gives Mewis the time. But ultimately, a good recovery by Adriana.
First corner for the U.S., and Rapinoe will take it. Played in, right side, and that's off Mallory Pugh for a goal kick. Off the block. It's Brazil back on it. Trailing by 1 on a Tobin Heath goal. Came in the 20th minute. Andressa. Davinia. That's blocked. Hurts for Rapinoe. Crystal Dunn in the 33rd minute. Difference in the game at the moment, a Tobin Heath goal. Kelly O'Hara. Throwing it with Sky Blue, finding Heath. Heath has dropped back a bit as Pugh advances. Flipped ahead. Pugh trying to catch up to this against the veteran, Monica. Physical battle. That time Pugh won it. Heath. Dahlkemper. Sauerbrunn. She was chased by Bia. Dunn. From Mewis, it hit her in the back. Mewis tries to recover. Apparently did. Kept that ball in play. Looked like it was going out. Crystal Dunn. Ertz. Up the middle. Cleared away by Brazil. Dahlkemper wins the next one. Ertz. Picked off. Brazil will try to counter, but that last ball will eliminate that opportunity. Mallory Pugh being closed by Formiga. Tempting ball for Morgan. There was Alini.
Kelly, what the heck were you doing up there? I love you, Kelly O'Hara.
It's O'Hara getting into the final third. She did this in the last minute or so. And Rapinoe now again with the strike.
Big goal kick for Alini.
Good turn by Morgan. Oh, it was, excuse me, it was Morgan who had the strike. I thought it was Rapinoe. And here's the ball in from Pugh. Diving header by O'Hara. You've got two runners sitting there between center back and the other center back. I think I heard someone in the crowd say, "What are you doing up there, girl?" Well, that's well scripted by the United States because Tobin Heath had dropped in.
Brazil back inside the circle. Thaisa's pass, right side. Leticia Santos, high upfield is the right back. Lost it there, no foul given. Rapinoe looks up, finds Morgan, waits for runners. Here in the middle. She had Rapinoe breaking, just couldn't deliver on the pass. Taken away by Brazil. Off a bump there. Pressure on the ball, but coming through. That's Bia beating two U.S. players. Bia holding the pass. She may get it back. She went down, tried to draw that foul. All the way back upfield. Look out there. Morgan almost took it away. Now she does get it. For Heath. In the 36th minute, U.S. with a one-goal lead. U.S. wide right and a bit too far in front of O'Hara. Mallory Pugh making her third straight start for the U.S. in this tournament. For more on Mallory, here's Alex Curry.
There's been a lot of talk to Mallory Pugh tonight on the sideline to find the pocket. Now, Mallory told us before the match that the adjustment to midfield has been different. She's needing to be cleaner and more crisp. She's watching a lot more film and learning a lot more, but right now it's about getting comfortable lat low on the pitch. Now, she said Julie Ertz has been a huge vocal help for her, talking her through the little things in this new role, JP.
Alex, that's pretty honest from a 20-year-old, right? I have to be cleaner. I have to be more crisp.
And she also said she prefers defending it as a winger. She gets to hunt the ball. She doesn't have to worry about players behind her.
As the first line, really, right, of that high pressure.
Maybe she'll have a new appreciation for her center midfield behind her when she is playing one of those wingers.
Learning experience, as they say. Leticia Santos dropping it back. Thaisa. The return. Thaisa. Low shot. Harris gives no rebound. And Ashlyn Harris with the lob toss. Good opportunity from Thaisa.
Right up the heart of the U.S. defense. This is where they've been vulnerable against the opponents in this tournament. Just quick interplay in the center. Right there at the edge of the 18 creates that opportunity for Brazil.
Some bending, but not breaking for the USA defensively. Jill side not used to conceding a couple of goals per game, and that's what they've done in 2 straight games and multiple goals allowed in 3 or 4 games in 2019. They want to shore that up before France in June. Andressa into the middle. Marta looking for her own shot. Low shot wide of Ashlyn Harris. Marta's had some success against the U.S., scoring 8 times against them, 4 times in Women's World Cup play. But she's not scored a goal for her country in the last 6 games. Maybe coincidence, maybe not, but they've lost all 6. On a 6-game losing streak, it's the longest in the Brazilian women's soccer history.
But her role is slightly different, you would say. She's more withdrawn forward. Sometimes she's playing in midfield, not finding herself as high on the field. That's going to be Bia's role and responsibility. Or Raquel if they put her in.
In the past, we're used to her taking over games. The role, you're right, has changed. She can still be effective.
And entertain.
In front of the USA bench, and it belongs to the U.S. Ertz has done wide open. Will bypass her for Rapinoe. Back for Dunn. It's a USA 1-0 lead on a goal by Tobin Heath way back in the 20th minute. O'Hara. Dahlkemper. Salvin advancing. Finding Dunn. Rapinoe. Heath was the closest one to it.
And for the amount of minutes that Mewis and Rapinoe have not spent on the field together, they look incredibly at ease. Look at that little tap right there through for Megan Rapinoe. Mewis had pulled wide, Rapinoe had checked central. That had opened things up, and then the U.S. has 3 runners in behind because they've advanced numbers.
Monica, formerly with the Orlando Pride. Andressa. Long for Monica. For a throw-in. Hera went for it, couldn't get to it. Andressa. Played it short. That's off Bia. Hera into the middle. Heavy touch from US. Dispossessed, but Dunn follows up. Finds Rapinoe. US in the circle with a nice turn and a nice ball ahead. Mallory Pugh, options, right, left, and center. Right side, it's Heath. Morgan and Rapinoe in the box. Across the way, header was wide. Sam Mewis has put herself in some very good positions tonight.
And she's looked good doing it. She's the one who solved pressure that got that ball to Mallory Pugh. Then the ball goes into that wide area, and she continues her run, drives into the box. Mewis typically so good with her head, just redirects it too far to that far post, doesn't get it on frame. That's when you expect her to finish.
Andressa played it over to Monica. Coming up at halftime, busy halftime show sponsored by AT&T. We'll have all your first half highlights and analysis with Rob, Christy, Leslie, and Mercy in our LA studios. Brazil on the ball, looking long. It's going to be too long, all the way back to Ashlyn Harris. Ertz, 42nd minute. A Tobin Heath goal separates these two teams. This result would mean that the U.S. finishes in 2nd place in the SheBelieves Cup tournament. England has already won the tournament in their last game result, 3-0 over Japan.
Strong statement by them in this tournament. One of the things Phil Neville wanted from his group was that winning mentality. Well, they got the result.
Monica on the ball. The U.S. entered this game knowing that a win gave them 2nd place, a draw 3rd place, a loss they would finish last. That's where they finished a couple years back in the SheBelieves Cup. Moving it forward, TC Santos on this right side. Into the box, headed out once. 2nd ball won by the U.S. and 3rd as well. And now it's settled by Heath. Long run made by Morgan. Going after it. Morgan tried. Good effort. Morgan wearing the captain's armband tonight. Rapinoe had worn it in the previous game. Brazil trying to turn it upfield. Almost through. Dabinia was open. Could have had a break in on goal. Dabinia will join her NWSL team, NC Courage, tomorrow. As soon as this tournament ends tonight, she's on her way to preseason.
And they'll likely ask a different role of her. She plays the 10 for that team.
She likes both, she told us yesterday. I think in the 10 position, though, with a club team, she sees more of the ball and likes that.
And she says she has more vision there.
Field, Mallory Pugh calling for it. Heath. Morgan makes the run. Heath on the ball. 1v1, trying to get outside. Tobin Heath crossing it. Rapinoe was the closest one to it. It overshot Pugh. And it goes out.
And I thought Tobin Heath was going to lay an early ball right there before. Jobs to take her defender on and drive inline. We've seen this so many times. Trying to rifle that one across the box for Pugh or Rapinoe, who's fading in at that back post. Neither one could connect with a crisp header. Pugh just misses it. That looks like it glances off the shoulder of Rapinoe.
In the final minute of this first half, what are you taking away from this?
I think one of the big things we were looking at was the impact of Mewis, and it's been incredibly strong. And I would say for Harris, too, she's looked sound back there. Two players vying for the number 2 spot probably as the goalkeeper, and for Mewis proving that she's a profile of a player that can be a starter. It doesn't necessarily have to be a backup. She can be used in rotation in the World Cup. She can continue on like this, build from this first half performance.
Foul on Hurts. Marta will have a free kick. We're told 1 minute of stoppage. Now it's posted up. Minimum of 1 minute. From distance, it's Marta. Also a teammate of Ashlyn Harris, the U.S. goalkeeper. Now Marta's going to give way to a teammate, Adriana, to take it. Marta will head closer to goal.
It's an incredibly high line by the U.S. Watch how early they'll drop.
Adriana's ready. Marta slipping in. That ball got away. That can't be how they drew it up.
Didn't matter how early the U.S. dropped, Brazil was never going to get to that one.
Hera on it. We're in stoppage time. U.S. with a 1-goal lead. Erica. Got it back from Formiga. That's going to do it. First half has come to a close, and just 1 goal separating these two teams. Tobin Heath with the goal, her 27th international goal for the USA. Stick around after the break. We'll go back to LA. Rob, Christy, Leslie, and Mercy will take you through a busy halftime.